my name is Jeremy. This is the first episode of the Fight Block. It's a place where I'll talk about anything and everything that has to do with the sport of mixed martial arts. I'm going to give a quick rundown on my thoughts on UFC 126, give my UFC 127 main card predictions, and then close on any random thoughts in regards to the sport that's on my mind. I'll close on those. To get it started, talk a little bit about UFC 126. Anderson Silva took on Vitor Belfort in the main event. But first, I want to talk a little bit about the issue of judging. Everyone knows there's a problem with judging in mixed martial arts. And once again at UFC 126, we saw that in the Rocha Ellenberger fight. One of the judges scored the fight 30-27 for Carlos Rocha. And when I heard that, my jaw dropped. I scored the fight 29-28 for Ellenberger. I believe there was one round where he mixed it up. With the takedowns, he controlled the stand-up. I believe it was the second round that Ellenberger won decisively. Third round was a little bit close, but I still felt Ellenberger had won. Rocha came out strong. First round looked really impressive with his submissions. Ellenberger was able to weather the storm, and then, like I said, I thought he worked his way to a unanimous decision. Judges, once again, at least they got the decision right. It was a split decision. Two judges gave it to Ellenberger, but that one judge, I don't think we ever figured out who it was. But that was horrible, frustrating, and something needs to be done about the judging system. It's out of the UFC's hands, out of Dana White's hands. It's all the athletics commissions that sanction the fights. And I mean, I know that. It's been said that a lot of the judges that are in the positions to judge the fight know nothing about the sport, which is really unfortunate. So I mean, hopefully, this is a new sport. It's a growing sport, and hopefully, the issue of judging can be improved upon in the future. But that being said, that just blew my mind, that 30-27 call. Moving on, main event. Anderson Silva showing why he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world, in my opinion, right now. Another highlight reel knockout, another highlight reel finish. I mean, that straight kick to the jaw out of nowhere, that was impressive. And I mean, I know Dana White says they want to try and make the Anderson Silva GSP mega fight happen. I'd love to see it. Hopefully GSP can get past Jake Shields and will step up and give Anderson Silva some problems. I mean, he had issues with Chael Sonnen's wrestling. GSP will come into the fight with better wrestling, better sub defense than Sonnen has. So it would make for an very interesting fight. Although I'd take Silva over GSP. But moving along, UFC 126 overall, a great night of fights, and yeah. So moving along to my UFC 127 predictions. UFC 127 is live February 26 from Sydney, Australia. The first fight on the card is Chris Camozzi taking on Kyle Noke. Both guys have been on the Ultimate Fighter show, and really, I can't say I've watched them all that much. I don't know a whole lot about them, but Chris Camozzi, he's won his last two fights, I believe, by decision. One was a split decision. Kyle Noke, on the other hand, has won several fights in the UFC by finish, TKO, and submission. Kyle Noke is from Australia, so he'll be fighting in front of his home crowd. Place should be rocking for him. I believe that's the reason they got this fight on the pay-per-view televised card. It's to sort of maybe showcase Noke, and that's who I'm going to be taking. Camozzi, I mean, he's a durable, tough to finish guy, but and Kyle Noke just looks like he's got a little bit more of a tenacity to finish. So that being said, like I said, not too familiar with either one of the guys. I've probably seen them fight. Can't remember watching him, but I'm taking Kyle Noak for the factor that he is performing in front of his home crowd. The place will be pumped for him, rocking. He's not going to want to let him down. Kyle Noak, unanimous decision over Chris Camozzi. The second fight on the card was supposed to be Carlos Condit against Chris Lytle, which I was looking forward to a lot. And unfortunately, Carlos Condit had to withdraw from the fight because of a knee injury. And I'm looking at the pay-per-view card right now, and actually they've taken off the Chris Lytle-Carlos Condit fight completely from their website. Although I had read online that they had found a guy by the name of Brian Ebersol. He's 46-14. He's never fought in the UFC. He's got several finishes. Looks like a durable, tough guy, but they looks like they want to bring this guy in to fight Chris Lytle, which is really unfortunate for Lytle because I feel he's either 1 or 2 fights away from earning a title shot. And like Lytle has said, he's at the end of his career. He would like to fight for the title one more time, and I feel like the guy's exciting. He's won 4 fights in a row, something like that, 5, going for 5, and they find some guy that's never fought in the UFC before to replace Carlos Condit. I'd like to see Lytle fight a contender, and with that being said, I got Chris Lytle either by submission or knockout. Lytle has never been actually finished himself. He's never been submitted. He's never been knocked out. So my final thoughts, I'm taking Chris Lytle by TKO in the second round. If this fight indeed does happen. Like I said, they took the fight off the card, and they haven't put up any replacement picture. So moving on to the next fight, Dennis Siver, I've heard it pronounced both ways, taking on George Sotiropoulos. I like both of these guys a lot. Siver has several highlight reel knockouts as of late. He's got this signature spinning body kick that he's actually finished several guys with. His stand-up is solid and better than Sotiropoulos's. He can mix it up better. With that being said, I think Sotiropoulos's grappling is just on a whole nother level, and that's where this fight's going to take place. Sotiropoulos is going to take it to the ground. He's going to get Sivers back, and he's going to submit him with a rear naked choke. Second round. Place will be rocking for Sotiropoulos. If he wins this fight, I wouldn't be surprised if the UFC throws him a title shot. Maybe one more fight, and he'll get the nod, but, I mean, he's right there to earning a lightweight title shot. Especially now that Kenny Florian is sort of out of the picture. That drops out one less contender since he's dropped down to the featherweight division. So, like I said, Sotiropoulos is right there in the mix. Sotiropoulos, second round, rear naked choke. Okay, so moving on. I don't know if you can call this fight the co-main event or if it's just the fourth broadcast fight. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of Michael Bisping, but he takes on Jorge Rivera, and we'll just say the co-main event in the evening. And Jorge Rivera, he's got the knockout, TKO power. He's a little bit slower. Bisping's a little bit more of the technical striker. I like Bisping in this fight. He doesn't have the finishing power, but he'll work his way to a decision and beat Jorge Rivera. I know Anderson Silva has voiced interest in fighting Bisping in Europe for the title. I don't think Bisping is anywhere near capable yet or worthy of fighting Anderson Silva. I was surprised Silva had called him out. That's just not a fight I'm interested in. Bisping. The competition level we saw when he got placed against a legit contender and Dan Henderson got knocked out. And until he can perform, he did well against Akiyama, although that was a battle. But Akiyama, as we've seen, hasn't won his last couple fights and really isn't as good or as much of a top contender as the UFC thought he might be. Bisping, I think, would just get absolutely destroyed by Silva, so no interest in that fight at the moment. But I've got Bisping unanimous decision over Jorge Rivera. On to the main event. BJ Penn takes on John Fitch. Both welterweight contenders. As much as I want to see BJ do well, he looked really impressive against Matt Hughes. I don't see this fight being competitive. BJ has struggled against wrestlers. We saw that. He doesn't do much off of his back. We saw it against GSP. Edgar took him down with ease. John Fitch is going to be the bigger, stronger fighter. He should have no problem taking BJ down and controlling him on the ground. I mean, like I said, BJ hasn't been that impressive off of his back lately. He's got the rubber guard that he tries to go for, but really hasn't done much with it in the last couple of fights that we've seen him off his back. I mean, Fitch is the king of decisions, so it's hard to say that he's going to finish BJ. BJ, I don't believe, has ever been submitted in the UFC. And I just see GSP or Fitch working his way to a decision and winning this fight against BJ. And potentially the winner of this fight could be granted a title shot, whether that's against the winner of GSP, Jake Shields, or if GSP leaves and if he does indeed beat Jake Shields and decides to move up to the middleweight division, take on Anderson Silva, it would be whoever wins this fight would be definitely a top contender and probably would fight for a vacated title. With that being said, should be a good night of fights. Those are my UFC 127 predictions. Sort of keeping with the, I've kind of done some thinking lately on the whole Anderson Silva and GSP potential matchup. And it's been said by GSP that if he does indeed move up to middleweight, he's going to stay there. So he's not going to just move up, fight Silva, and if he loses, move back down. Maybe he moves back down if he loses, but he's looking to put on the extra weight and keep that and challenge himself in the middleweight division. With that being said, it's really weird to think of a welterweight division without GSP. It's kind of hard to think who would step up and be the star of the division. I mean, you got to look at John Fitch as being one of the favorites. Shields is right there. But really, I mean, GSP leaving the welterweight division would take a huge hit on the competition and, quite frankly, the interest in that weight class. Some quick information on UFC 130. It looks like Matt Hamill is stepping in to fight Quentin Rampage Jackson. Apparently Silva's drug testing from his fight, I forget which UFC it was, but he fight against Brandon Vera. His drug test is either being processing or it's pending, and it looks like he tested positive for some sort of steroid, which is really unfortunate. I was looking forward to the Silva Rampage fight, and Silva just looked like a beast against Vera, and it sucks when a fight has to be overshadowed by a failed drug test, but we'll see what comes of that. They haven't released any details or anything, so who knows what will be the outcome of that whole issue. Thanks for listening. This is the first episode of the Fight Block. Hopefully I'll have more. You can check out my Twitter. I'll throw in some links. It's fight_block. I also got a blog where I'll post some random stuff that I find online, videos, interviews that I find interesting. You can check that out at www.fightblock.blogspot.com. I'll put the links somewhere in the bar description. But that's it. And thanks for listening. And hopefully I'll have more in the future. And feel free to leave comments, give your predictions. Let's get the discussion going. Peace.